Going. Going.
Run, 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 run.
Jumper. Do you like that?
Six years have now passed since the time of the last film in this series, and Fred Dibnah's life has gone over a few bumps. We left him approaching his 50th birthday rather in the doldrums. His wife Alison had at last given up the unequal struggle with his steam engines, and one day when he came puffing home, she departed for good.
Like living here all alone weren't much fun really. I'd come home and put my pie in the oven and put the kettle on and watch a bit of the news and try and keep the time for going to the pub as late as possible. More often than not it ended up like somewhere around about 8 o'clock and rolled down the pub and joined the other divorced characters in a similar situation. Where, you know, life seemed a lot rosier after 11 o'clock when you'd had about 5 pints of bitter. I soon realised that you couldn't go on like that forever or you would become just another bloke who props the bar up down the pub, you know. Not a lot to show for your life here on this planet.
Then Sue arrived, a young woman ready to see some virtue in steam.
Hi.
Yeah, you all right? My mechanical power. What are you doing then? We have the drills. Only automatic, huh? Yeah, that's the shape of that. Flaming up. Iron. This is my tractor I'm working on, you know. Whether I'll ever get it finished or not, it's a different matter. It's my wonderful steam engine, see? Yeah, it's a bit mucked up at present. It's, we've not cleaned it for a month or two, you know. Yeah, come on.
I first met Fred at a big steam rally in Cheshire. It was in the middle of all the divorce problems and everything. And Fred was, in fact, very drunk. He looked awful. He was sad and miserable, quite a pathetic sort of figure, really. None of the bounce that people sort of knew him for. Anyway, he invited us to a big chimney felling, and it was the one at Oldham, the one that he nearly brought down on the top of all of us.
Did you work your camera?
Well done. Congratulations.
Shortly after that, Fred rang me up and asked me if I would like to go out with him to give him a bit of support, I think, because he was going to Halifax to talk to the Fred Dibnah Appreciation Society, which, when we arrived at this little pub in Halifax, there were lots of men all sort of similar to Fred, all wearing flat caps and smoking woodbines.
I remember waking up in the middle of the night to a terrible row, and the landlord and the landlady, everybody were hopelessly drunk at the end of the evening, and the landlord and the landlady were actually throwing things at each other, and the projectiles were going through windows downstairs. Sounded like there were a bloody war on, you know. And when we got up there, all the windows were broke, you know, down below. Yeah, I'll never forget that as long as I live.
I moved in with Fred some months later, and that was when the press first really sort of got an inkling that there was something going on in Fred's life that they felt that the world should know about. And we had a lot of trouble with photographers camping out outside the house and following us to see where we were going.
The thing is that, you know, I don't like this living over the brush, as they call it. So, you know, I think she wanted to marry me as much as I wanted to marry her. So, you know, it sort of went from there, as you might say.
There is a big age difference between Fred and I. There are 20 years. People quite often said to me, "You out with your dad tonight?" And we found it quite amusing, but people found it very embarrassing and very difficult to cope with. Fred used to say quite often, "Oh, you're going to leave me for somebody younger, somebody handsome." And it's, why, Fred? You know, I'm not looking for somebody young and handsome. You know, it's you I want, nobody else.
One day Susie said to me, "Why don't you grow a moustache, you see?" And it's a thing like, I've always thought men who have moustaches are quite vain, you know. I've never really needed hair or a beard or a moustache to hide behind. So I thought, anyway, I'll have a go if it makes her happy, you see.
It was all sort of perhaps part of a master plan to sort of make it different here. It's very difficult moving into somebody else's house, and I made the effort to sort of make it so that it wasn't the same. And I think maybe that was what I was perhaps doing with Fred, just to change his visual image just a little bit. I didn't want to change Fred, just to make him look a bit different.
One day I won 2 pints too many, like, and I come home, I'm in a scrub up, like, you know, got the razor out. Before I knew it, I'd shaved half the bloody thing off, you know. I only got one half still on. And that was the end of that. I had to shave it all off and have a fresh start, you see. You know, having learned, like, that my new wife were pregnant, the first sort of worry were, would I be a proper father, as you might say. But anyway, little Jack plopped out, beautiful, you know, in good nick and everything. And he's turned out to be quite an exciting little fella who likes more or less everything I do. Yeah, is it? Boy, no, isn't it? Yeah. Hey, go on, pal. Use some sticks. Right. Are we going to build a chimney? It beats me how all these cassettes survive with what you do with them. Yeah. Well, you know all about this engine, don't you? That's it. You can't do it, Fred. Oh, right. Well, where do you want to go now? Right. Hi. You're giving me a wave.
Bye, Dad.
Bye bye.
So see you later. Oh, he is, isn't he? Bye. Think it's too high for you today? Yay! I think so as well.
This must be one of the best chimney stacks in all of England. It's almost 300 feet tall and built in 1877. Some of the stones at the top weigh as much as 5 tons each. And when they built it, it's reputed that they had a roast beef party on top. The whole thing only cost 14,000 quid, you know. I mean, you couldn't buy a terraced house for that now. Really, what we're doing today is a loop round and take a few photographs of the state of affairs, both, you know, on the sides and over them big overhangs at the top. Brickwork's getting a bit perished. Pieces coming off. Chewing gum mastic. The funny things, chimneys, you get some feel friendly and others feel nasty, you know. I don't know, there's some feeling about this big chimney that is friendly, you know. I'm not scared of it at all. I suppose mountaineers could have the same feeling about certain rock faces. I've been on much lesser chimneys than this, where I felt quite scared of the thing. Right, really, up here, if you make one mistake, it's definitely half a day out with the undertaker. You're finished. Right, little Jack down there, he has a bit of a shine for these ladders, but I think it would be rather foolish for him to attempt this sort of thing. I mean, the chimneys are all gone, and of course religions run out of brass, haven't they? You know, not much money left, like. The old girls who used to pop off and leave the church £20,000 to get in thin on the ground, if there'd been a goodwill and a large amount left to a church, they used to splash out on a big renovation job straight away. Well, now it's all the cadging job, isn't it? You know, the old lollipop stuck up outside with the thermometer stick and all that.
Say you're knackered when you're 50. Hey, this band round here must have been nice when it was first done. Oh, yellow and blue and red bricks. Cold on the finger ends. Nearly there. Harry Olding's ledge. Whew. We shall continue the big overhang. Here we go. Come to the bit where Harry used to say to the lads, you need dack on your shoes here for getting round this corner. For them who don't know it, that's glue. And it'll sort the men out for the boys. This overhang is supposed to be about 5 feet out from the wall proper. Ooh, beautiful, magnificent stones, bigger than a man. Some of them are supposed to weigh 5 tons. 5 tons. Don't know how did they get all this up here? Steam power. Hey. Yeah. Steam, we're here. And up here, there's a buzzard lift somewhere. I hope it didn't come out and get me. Yeah, trifle cool up here this morning. Keep going, Fred. Up, up, up. Woohoo! Yeah. Finally, down. And here we are. My word, what a place. You can ride a bike around here. Yeah.